Hey, what's up, guys? Okay, so after the very long 1 week break, we are finally back with chapter 248 of Black Clover, which I gotta admit, this chapter was hype. Seeing the fight between Luck and I want to say the guy's name was Svenkin, that was hype. And actually, it really has me excited to see exactly what's gonna be going down with the rest of the fights in the Heart Kingdom. Because I gotta admit, after chapter 247, I was a little bit disappointed because of the fact that not only did we cut away from the fight between Dante and Yami, which was just getting hyper and hyper by the chapter, but as soon as we got to the Heart Kingdom, we ended up finding out that four of the Spirit Guardians were taken out off screen. And we hadn't even met the last three of them, and yet they were still all defeated off screen. That was very disappointing to find out. And not only that, to find out they were taken out by Dark Apostles as well. You know, the underlings, not even Vanica herself took them out. That was kind of upsetting. But after watching Luck fight off against the Dark Apostles that he fought in this chapter, it has me now invested and excited to see the rest of the fights in the Heart Kingdom with all the other characters going up against all the other Dark Apostles that Vanica brought with her. And I mean, if I remember correctly, we know that Vanica brought at least 4 Dark Apostles with her. Now, obviously, Luck took out 1 in this chapter, which means there's still 3 left. And we know for a fact that Charmy, Leo, and Real are all still in the Heart Kingdom, which means that we're definitely going to see the next few chapters focusing on those 3 fights. Now, I do think that Vanica actually might have brought a 5th member with her, which if she did, this could actually be really interesting because of the fact that we haven't seen Charlotte post a time skip yet. And we can all pretty much assume, because of the fact that she has plant magic, that she would have went to the Heart Kingdom to train like pretty much everyone else did. Because if Real went and he's a captain, then there's nothing to say that Charlotte could have gone as well, and she was on the roster of characters we saw. Now, of course, you know it's kind of technically on that roster as well, and he didn't end up going training in the Heart Kingdom, obviously. So there's nothing to say for sure that she did train in the Heart Kingdom, but we can pretty much all assume that she probably did. And if she is in the Heart Kingdom still training, you know, probably polishing up her skills, then if there is a 5th member of the Dark Apostles, we could actually end up seeing Charlotte go up against that 5th member. Which I think we all can pretty much assume that if Charlotte were to go up against one of the Dark Apostles, again, assuming because of the fact that the Svenkin guy that Luck was fighting in the chapter was only using, I would say, about 55% of his demonic power, that they can all only use about that same level. Which, if that's the case, assuming the fact that Yami and Charlotte were around the same level of strength prior to the time skip, seeing how Yami is going up against Dante toe-to-toe when he's using 60% of his demonic powers post-time skip, I would say that would mean that Charlotte would definitely be able to take out the Dark Apostle very easily. She probably wouldn't struggle at all facing off against him. In fact, I could probably say the same thing for Real, since he was a captain. He probably was not similarly strength, but probably close enough to them that when he goes up against his Dark Apostle member, assuming that he can only use 55% of his abilities, he should be able to pretty much body him without any second thought. But you know, while we're still on the subject of Charlotte, I actually am very interested in seeing, and hope we do get to see her soon, post the time skip. Because 1, I want to see what her new character design might be, assuming it's about a day to redesign her. And 2, I'm a little bit interested in seeing if she ended up finding out any more information about her curse, maybe if she actually did officially lift it. Because as far as I can remember, and you know, correct me in the comment section down below if I actually am wrong, Charlotte, even though her elf kind of did ease the curse that she was under, she didn't cure it. So I wonder if, you know, training in the Heart Kingdom, she ended up finding out because of, you know, the fact that Lord Bertica also has a curse placed on her and they have some knowledge of demons. If Charlotte was able to find a way to cure her family curse, or if she's still suffering under the effects. But anyway, getting to the actual chapter, we actually do start the chapter off with a flashback sequence. And we get to see Luck when he first came to the Heart Kingdom to train, which we get official confirmation in this chapter that pretty much we all figured this out anyway. Luck was very obviously training under Gaja during the 6 months. Of course, the guy who has lightning element magic would end up training under the Lightning Spirit Guardian. There was no question about that. I doubt anyone was really doubting that fact. But we do get official confirmation in the chapter that, yeah, he was training under him. And the first thing that Gaja did when he brought Luck over was to teach him how to use the runes, which it seems like Luck picked up on very quickly. And it's no surprise there, because if we remember from his backstory, Luck's pretty much always been kind of a magical genius. He's pretty much always picked up on things very quickly, you know, at an extremely fast and kind of scary rate. So it wasn't really a surprise they ended up picking up on the runes very quickly. Now, On top of that, we do end up finding out that, and this is actually something I was very excited to see, we find out that not only did Asta bring Luck to train under Gaja, but he also brought Magna as well, which was something that when we first got the official roster of characters who will be training in the Heart Kingdom, I was upset that Magna wasn't on that list. And admittedly, a lot of you guys said that, just because Magna wasn't on the list doesn't mean he didn't come over to the Heart Kingdom to train, which we end up finding out that, yeah, that's true. He did end up coming, even though he wasn't initially on that roster of characters we saw. But unfortunately, because of the fact that he has a very, very hard time picking up on how to create the runes, it seems like Luck kind of gives up, or not really gives up, but he gives up on training in the Heart Kingdom. And I was actually a little bit disappointed by that, but after my second reading, I actually picked up on something that I think Tabata was setting up, and actually he kind of set it up back in chapter 240, and it was kind of just giving us a little more hints to it in this chapter. And that's basically that Asta says when he brought Magna and Luck to train under Gaja, he also wanted to bring Zora, but Zora wouldn't come. And this is actually a key line of dialogue when it comes to figuring out how Magna would end up training over the next 6 months. Because as we found out in chapter 240, when Asta came back to the Black Bull headquarters, he found out that that Magna and Zora had been hanging out with each other for the past 6 months, going off on their own to do things. Which we can all assume now because of the fact that Magna couldn't really crack it when it came to training in the Heart Kingdom and learning how to use runes. He most likely went to Zora, because as we find out from how runes work in this chapter, they're very similar to Zora's trap magic, I would say. So basically what we end up finding out from Gaja in the flashback is that, first off, you create the runes by using the natural mana in the air and, life around you. So basically you just draw mana from nature to create the runes. And once you create a complete circle with the runes, you enchant or you program that circle to have a simple enchantment that will enhance your magical attack or your magical abilities in one way when you use them. And you had to program each circle to act in a different way. And that's why if you think back to when Gaja was actually fighting off against Noelle, Finral, and Mimosa, that specific lightning attack he used against them was so gigantic and powerful, because that specific circle of runes that he actually had when he used that attack was most likely programmed to enchant his magic's power. So basically each circle of runes has its own program, and that's why I said it's similar to Zora's trap magic, because each trap he has, it's programmed to do a specific thing. Whether it comes to, pitfall trap or the trap that he uses on his body to deflect any attack on him, they're all programmed to do a specific thing. Which is why I think Tabata has been setting up for Magna and Zora to be getting so close and, training together over this past 6 months. Because of the fact that Magna was not understanding how to create the runes over in the Heart Kingdom learning under Gaja. Which, I'm surprised he was learning under Gaja instead of a Fire Spirit Guardian. But then again, seeing after what happened with the Spirit Guardians besides Gaja, I guess he was better off. But anyway, the reason why he probably went to train with Zora instead is because Zora obviously was already doing basically what the runes do. But basically because of the fact that Zora had already been naturally doing that with his own magic before we even found out what the runes were. And since Zora and Magna are actually very similar when it comes to the personality, it would be easier for Zora to teach Magna how to do those runes and how to use that type of abilities versus learning under someone like Gaja, who is a polar opposite of what Magna is. There's also this moment during the flashback when Magna, after he realizes that he's not really getting or understanding how to create the runes, he gets very frustrated and upset and just kind of walks out. And Asta wants to go after him and try to cheer him up and try to convince him to come back and try a little bit harder. But Luck actually ends up stopping him and basically tells him, and at the first glance it seems kind of fucked up the way Luck says it. He basically says that if this stops Magna from getting stronger, then that's basically all he amounted to to begin with. And again, it seems kind of fucked up for Luck to say, but if you look at the context of what's going on, or, their relationship and what Luck is saying in that part of the chapter, what he's really meaning is that he trusts that despite the fact that Magna is having a hard time figuring out how to do this specific thing, is not going to stop him from training and getting stronger, because he trusts that Magna, despite this, will overcome it somehow and find his own way of achieving a new strength. And that goes to speak to exactly how much trust Luck has in Magna. And of course the two of them have trust in each other because of the fact that, in the Black Wolves, they are pretty much the best friends. I mean, yeah, in the Black Wolves, pretty much everyone treats each other like family, but no more than these two characters. These two have pretty much, since Luck has kind of, started to grow closer to everyone, basically became best friends and basically like brothers. And they always have had since, they both kind of got changed a little bit when it comes to their personalities by Asta joining the Black Wolves. The two of them become basically rivals. And each time one gets a power up, the other one gets one as well. Now, of course, we end up finding out in this chapter, which we already knew, Luck was already stronger than Magna. We get confirmation that Magna was a stage 5 mage, while Luck was a stage 3. But because of the fact that they both always do get power-ups together, since Luck obviously has become a lot stronger, I would say he's probably around stage 1 now, I have no doubt that Magna also got the same level of power up. Now, I don't think he is stage 1 just yet, but I dare to say that the next time we see Magna, he will be at the very least a stage 2 mage after his training with Zora. Now, at the end of the flashback, once Gaja explains to Luck exactly how the runes work, Luck basically tries to get Gaja to teach him how to use his true lightning magic, which basically means he wants to learn that giant lightning attack that Gaja used against Finral in him. And Gaja basically explains to him that's not exactly how this thing works. When it comes to Gaja's magical abilities, his ability is basically discharge. That's why he can create those giant lightning bolts with his lightning magic. But when it comes to Luck, his magic is fortification. That's why whenever he uses magic attacks, he creates those boots and claws. So while Gaja can teach Luck true lightning magic, it's not going to have the same results. He has to figure out what his true lightning magic is through using the runes to basically fit his fighting abilities better. And that's pretty much what Luck ends up doing during the fight. He learns how to use his own version of true lightning magic, because during the fight, because of the fact that Svenken's magical ability is to either harden or soften his body based on Luck's attack, and because his body has a natural ability that once he senses Luck's magical attack, it automatically defends against it, Luck realizes that in order to basically defeat Svenken or even to do any bit of damage to him, he just has to get fast enough to where his attack hits Svenken before Svenken's body naturally reacts to it. So throughout the entire attack, or throughout the entire fight, he's basically using his runes to enchant himself to go faster and faster. So with each attack, he's just getting faster and faster to the point where once he finally does manage to land a little bit of damage to Svenken, it freaks Svenken out and he ends up going into full defense mode. He completely hardens his body as hard as he can get it, and he creates these like little cannons in his stomach that he shoots out at Luck. But luckily, Luck's fast enough to dodge all of them. And at the end of the chapter, Luck uses 3 magic rune circles that he enchanted to increase his speed tenfold, and he finally activates his own version of true lightning magic, which is called True Lightning Magic Renounce Rate. I think I pronounced that right, I'm not sure. But basically, what ends up happening is that he's going so fast that he turns his own body into a giant lightning bolt. And that actually goes perfectly with what Gaja was telling Luck, that while he can find out or try to find a way to use these runes to enchant himself to use true lightning magic, it's not going to be the same as Gaja's. Gaja disperses his own lightning bolt attack at someone from a far distance, while Luck, because of the fact that he uses basically fortification magic, his true lightning ability was turning himself into the lightning bolt itself. And you know what? This moment right here is actually what sold me on the chapter, seeing Luck use that true lightning ability. Because as soon as I saw it, the gears started rolling in my head. It's like, alright, if Luck and Gaja have true lightning, that means the other elemental characters have to have true their element. So when it comes to Leo, when we get to see his fight, he's going to have a true fire magic attack, which whatever that ends up being. When it comes to Noelle, her true water magic attack. When it comes to a character like when he eventually gets to the Dark Kingdom, or when he eventually starts training how to use those runes to increase his abilities, he'll have a true wind attack. I can't wait to see exactly what those end up looking like. But that's pretty much all there is to the fight. That's pretty much all there is to the chapter. It's not really anything else to talk about. And you know what I gotta say? This chapter, this fight, got me on board. I wasn't at first, but this chapter got me on board with being in the Dark Kingdom. And now, I don't even want to go back to Dante and Yami. I don't even want to go back to see exactly what the end result of that fight is anymore until we are officially done with all these sequence events in the Dark Kingdom, seeing basically all the other characters fight off against all the Dark Apostles, seeing Noelle go up against Vanica, until we get a resolve to all this in the Dark Kingdom. Tabata, I don't want you to go back to Dante versus Yami at all. Don't want you to cut away to anything else. Just stay in the Dark Kingdom, please. You can't get me this excited and then cut away from all of it. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all there is to the chapter review. That's pretty much all there is to the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Comment down below your thoughts and theories on the chapter, and I'll catch you guys, I guess, in 2 weeks now, not this week, Which, speaking of that, before I end the video, I do want to mention that I could have swore when it was announced this new schedule that Shonen Jump would be going on because of everything that's going on with this outbreak and whatnot, that we would be getting 2 chapters this week instead of 1. As far as right now goes, only chapter 248 dropped. If on Sunday, when the official translations come out, that chapter 249 ends up dropping as well, I'll definitely do a review for that. But as of right now, we can expect that in 2 weeks. But anyway, guys, peace out. I'll catch you later.